For my Vision Tech 4-week project, I chose to make a 4x4x4 LED cube, which is shown here. I chose that mainly because I thought it looked pretty cool, and I would have to learn how to solder to do it, and I didn't know how at the time, and I think that is a cool skill that I can be able to use later. So really, I have for my stuff I needed was the solder, LEDs, and Arduino, and then I just watched YouTube videos to learn how. Mainly, I had one website, Instructables, that showed me how to put everything together, and this really helped because they actually knew what they were doing, and I did not. And then just I had some YouTube videos about just how to solder and just so I could learn because I had no idea when I started. And it also helped that I had people like Jameson give me a few tips and stuff when I was starting out. So that was cool. So my plan originally was to just like learn how the first week and then just work on making the cube the second and third week and then finish it up and the presentation up on the fourth week. But I didn't realize that soldering wasn't as easy as I expected. So it really took me the first week and decent amount of the second week to really start to get it down. And so by the third week, I was already, even by the second week, I was a little behind what I wanted to. And then third week, I definitely was. So the fourth, I wanted to have the cube pretty much finished but when I started the fourth week, I was not there. And then, so I came in an extra day and I finished up the cube, put it all together. And then at the end of the day, I took it home and realized that there was quite a bit of wiring to do underneath that I really hadn't anticipated, which was a little bit annoying in all the tight spaces in there. But eventually I got it done and I made my LED cube. So I learned how to solder, which was good, and I think I'm gonna try to show it if I can. I don't know if this will work very well, but there's really two kinds of ways to solder. You can either to solder you use this, which is a soldering iron, and then this is actually the solder, which is the metal that you melt. So what you do is you get the solder and you melt it. There's two ways. At the start, when I would melt the solder and then just touch it straight up to what I wanted to touch them both straight up to what I wanted the solder on. And then that worked pretty well for what I was doing. It kind of works because you can actually like use this hand with the solder to kind of move it around, get it exactly where you want it. So that worked all right for what I was doing. But then when I got to the smaller part, like putting everything together, the really close stuff, and then especially under here where I had to get in tight spaces, that really didn't work quite as well. So another thing you can do is melt solder onto the iron and then essentially drip it off onto the thing you want it on. And so it was a little hard to get to switch over with that because I had just been going straight on with both for the past week, 2 weeks. I guess 3 weeks by then, probably at least. And then, but it worked a lot better in the tight spaces and getting that because I had a lot of trouble if you bumping, messing up one solder while I was trying to do another, and it took quite a while to finally finish the bottom up without screwing something else up. So for this project, I mainly focused on soldering because that's something that is very new to me. But another part of it was the wiring it up and hooking it up to an Arduino, which is what actually made the whole thing work when you plug code into an Arduino and plug that up to the LEDs. So I've already used an Arduino, so I didn't really spend much time on it. I got when I finished the build, I downloaded the code from Space Online where people have shared their code, and so that's a whole nother 4 week project or more trying to learn how to do all that because it's insane the amount of code that you have to put into something like that. So this is the app that you use to hook up to an Arduino. If it'll open. Yeah. So this is the code I had for my LED cube. So that would have taken me crazy long to write all that. And I don't even like I know what some of it means, but I mean if you mess up you mess up one of these put one of these things in the wrong place, like if I delete something, oh I missed the E, then it won't, yeah, then it messes up and it won't even upload. And then so one tiny mistake can ruin the whole code. So using someone else's is great help. It saves a lot of time. Then I could focus more on the soldering aspect, which is really what I wanted to learn. So then you just click upload, and I don't have an Arduino hooked up now, but it would go straight. Yeah, I don't have a board, so it would go to the board and then out the pins. Each of these are different plugs on the Arduino that I had the LEDs plugged into. So that's how the code transfers into the Arduino and makes the LEDs actually light up.